Aaron Burnett Out Front, weeknights at 7, only on CNN.
Oh my God.
Several Korean aviation accident investigators now looking into the Asiana crash got their training here, according to USC's aviation safety program. Inside an old Sears warehouse where the twisted wreckage of plane crashes serves as a classroom for aviation accident investigators.
What you see around here is a safety system that has failed.
Instructors took me through part of the training.
What strikes you with this?
Well, what strikes me is that there was a big fire here, and it doesn't look like anyone could have survived this.
Now you look over there, what do you see on that left wing?
Well, I see twisted metal. It looks like some sort of significant trauma happened to that wing, crashed into something, hit something, I don't know, a pole.
We teach the discipline of accident investigation, namely to observe the fact, to document the fact, and then let the facts take you by the hand and lead you to the next fact. And the discipline not to conclude, not to summarize, and not to think too far ahead, but to stick with the facts.
And so how wrong am I?
You're right.
But minutes later, I jumped to a faulty conclusion looking at different wreckage.
It almost looks like a crumpled beer can. And what we see here is the power of a thunderstorm.
So lightning hit this aircraft?
There is no evidence of lightning strike. This is simply evidence of an aircraft being torn apart by the severe turbulence that is contained in a thunderstorm.
While investigators in San Francisco still are gathering information, there are clues.
We're pretty sure that we're going to look at how the airspeed decayed to a point where 3 fully qualified people on the flight deck didn't see it, or saw it and didn't warn the captain. In today's world, with the way these airplanes are made, the weak link is always going to be human factors.
One question these instructors are beginning to ask is, have pilots become too reliant on automation? The NTSB says it's looking into the role an automated throttle may have played in the Asiana crash.
If we can teach one thing, it is never one thing. It's always a chain of interrelated causes. The reason it's safe is that the lessons that we have learned through accident investigation and through investigating the procedures, they're the ones that have changed this and made it such a safe form of transportation.
Now, Casey, you know, as you said, NTSB officials have essentially ruled out an equipment error at this point. So they still think, though, they can learn something from the wreck, right? What are they hoping to find?
Well, they can learn something, Aaron, from just about every wreck. And some of the things that they're looking at in this case is what was the communication like between those pilots. And as CNN has reported earlier in the week, were there any cultural issues in terms of senior officers versus junior officers not wanting to raise those alarms that should have been raised? The other issue they're looking at very closely is, as we well know, many of these aircraft functions are highly automated now. There are some in the aviation community who believe that pilots are relying too much on that automation, that in some cases they may be, for want of a better word, neglecting their main responsibility, which is to fly the aircraft. So there's going to be some looking into whether that played a role, Aaron.